topic for today is how to overcome the overwhelming.
Now, can you hear better?
How to overcome the overwhelming. What does that mean? So what is so overwhelming in your life? Are any of you ever feeling overwhelmed?
Does it count for caregivers?
This is all about caregivers. I want you to understand Parkinson Power. This is a program that I've been doing. This is, I think I'm just finishing my 16th year with it. I started it many, many years ago when I started with Jim Schumacher, the neurosurgeon. So I've been doing this venue of empowerment and motivation for 16 years now. And I choose to do it with patients and caregivers because you know what, you're such a great dynamic partnership, aren't you? And it's very important not only for caregivers to understand what is going on with your loved one with Parkinson's, but what is equally as important, my friends, that your Parkinson patients understand what's going on with your caregivers. So this is why I try to merge the two of you. So everything that I say, you have to think about, well, how do I answer it for me and how do I answer it for my caregiver? Because it's very, very important if you're going to have a positive relationship that you have the ability to empathize with your partner in this process. And how many of you have a partner? How many of you have someone here that, so it's very important that you understand in your partnership and your partners in the Parkinson adventure. We'll call it an adventure for today. And it is an adventure, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's really no roadmap. There's really no roadmap for it. You know, how many of you go on a car trip and just get in the car and take off?
Years ago.
Oh, you do. I know you do. Years ago, the young days when we really didn't care, or the NOS would get in their schooner and just take off, I'm sure, right? Yeah, you had your chart, but you had your charts and you had your whatever. But this is really an adventure because every day can be different.
Yes, exactly.
Every day can be very much the same, but every day can be very, very different. So unfortunately, there's not an instruction manual that goes along with this. All right? And it is difficult. What makes it difficult? Why is the Parkinson adventure so difficult for you? What makes it difficult?
The detours.
The detours. That's a good analogy. The what back?
Very well said.
The detours. Give me an example of the detours. You know, it's so easy, isn't it? It's so easy. We get so excited when you get on 75 and you're going to Naples and there's no traffic jams and there's no accidents and you just sail on down there, right? Isn't that fun? Right? But one accident, you got a parking lot on 75, or one problem you have to detour. What are some of the detours that you experience during the course of a day?
Tremors.
The detours, what's a detour? Detour takes you off track, right?
The tremors
Fatigue.
that curtail your activity.
The tremors curtail your activities. Point being, you get up, you want to do something, your head says, oh, I can't wait to do this, it's a bright sunshiny day, I'm out of here. And then all of a sudden the disease can kick in a little bit with the symptoms or the side effects from medications, and a detour can be, I really want to do it in my head, but today I'm not doing so good with the tremors, with the fatigue, with the being tired. So you're detoured from doing the things that you want and love to do. What do you do about it?
Go to sleep.
Uh-oh, no, go to sleep. She doesn't care, she just goes to sleep. Kaput.
No, but what happened was,
Yeah.
I felt suddenly tired. And before I knew it, I was waking up in my bed with my shoes on.
Oh,
Now
you sure it was your bed?
about that.
Point being taken. You know, I always teach you that the body will follow the mind, but in your mind, I want you to set reasonable limits for yourself and set reasonable expectations for yourself. You know, I see some of you coming in here wanting to do everything, wanting to do all the programs, and then by 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, you're crawling out the front door, unable to hold your head up because you're too tired out. So that's the point well taken. I want you to really plan your life or plan your 8 hours of activity and say, okay, this makes sense to me. You know, if I do something in the morning, I'll take a rest period, I'll have a lunch, I'll do an activity in the afternoon, I'll see friends this evening. So set expectations that will set you up for success, okay? Detours do not set you up for a successful adventure, all right? So set limitations that are okay for you, right? So what is overwhelming you? Let's talk about Parkinson's disease. Is it easy?
No.
Is it a cakewalk? No? Is it overwhelming? What does the word overwhelming mean?
Too much for you to handle.
Too much for you to handle. You know, the human body, the human spirit, the human mind. We can handle anything that is what we call, in the clinical side, within a healthy level. You hear what I'm saying? You can handle a certain amount of stress within a healthy level, all right? You can handle a number of challenges, of fears, of concerns, of worries within a normal level. But number one, what really creates you into an overwhelming mode is that these problems increase, all right, as well as last longer. I figured that out, okay? In other words, do it this way. How many of you can hold up a 5-pound bag of sugar for 5 seconds? Okay. How many of you can hold it up for 5 minutes? How many of you can hold it up for 5 hours? How many of you can hold it up for 5 days? See what I'm saying to you? It's the same bag of sugar, weighs exactly the same. But the burden, the fatigue, the stress, the strain on you makes it overwhelming and you go down. All right? So it's the combination of being overwhelmed. Now you're going to be overwhelmed with Parkinson's disease because guess what? It ain't going away. Have you accepted that? Have you accepted that, well, on a positive note, have you accepted I have Parkinson's, Parkinson's does not have me? Okay. I want you, if you've not done anything else, to accept your Parkinson's disease diagnosis, okay? Because it's who you are today, all right? It's part of your life. You're still wonderful, you're still magical, you're the same wonderful person that you always were. You just happen to have a Parkinson diagnosis. So you have to, in your own way, in your own time, okay, this is the other thing, your timeline of acceptance, of understanding. There's no timeline on how long it takes you to accept yourself with Parkinson's disease or to accept yourself with the changes that have come about in you, all right? How many of my Parkinson patients can say to me, Mac, I have accepted that I have Parkinson's disease and that I am tolerant of it and that I have the will and the wherewithal and the empowerment to handle this?
90%.
Now, I'll take 90%. You know, none of us are doing anything 100%. I'll take, what's a good percentage?
75.
You want to do 75? Okay, 75 it is. We have a new protocol, all right? 75% of the time, which is good, right? 3/4 of your life, your waking life, you are accepting. How many of you accepted 75% of the time, this is who I am? If you haven't, this is your exercise for the week until we meet again in this conversation, okay? Because guess what? You cannot fight a ghost. You hear me? A ghost. You having trouble with my Philadelphia accent? You can't fight a ghost. You have to face a reality. You have to face reality. This is who you are today. For whatever reason, and I never ask why. This is one thing in my life that I have never asked why about anything in my life. I just take it on to the best of my ability, all right? Don't worry yourself why. It's not the issue why. The issue is it's reality. And this is who I am, all right? And look in the mirror and see the exact same wonderful person that you were before, but you have to be humble enough to be able to say, this disease and its potential has altered me, has made me have maybe some limits, okay? You need to respect your limits. Are you supposed to cave into them, give into them? Are you supposed to get in the recliner and go belly up and say, oh, woe is me?
No.
I'm not doing anything here? You will not, okay? But you have to accept,
Your mic.
you have to be able to look in the mirror and love what you see. And you have to be tolerant about life. This is what's very difficult. You know, if you want to overcome the overwhelming, you have to have the ability to accept what is overwhelming you.
I've learned that life can give you lemons,
Yeah.
but you turn that lemon into a lemonade.
That's it. You see that attitude? That's a great one. I love that one. If life deals you lemons, make lemonade. You hear what he's saying? All right? You're not going to control what happens to you. You have no control. You wake up in the day and you're hopeful for no drama, or for no challenges, or for no more additional concerns, or whatever, okay? But there's no guarantee what's going to happen to you. It's going to happen. It's in the scheme of things, all right? The only thing that we can do as a human being is to keep ourselves standing tall emotionally with the drive and the will to face and to deal with. And now that's not easy. Yes,
I think also you need to be grateful for the things you have.
exactly.
If you remember the things that are good and that you're
Mhm.
happy about, look forward to that instead
Exactly.
of the opposite.
Exactly, exactly. And Cheryl has a very good point there. You know, it's very easy to be all consumed with negative. You know, how many of you are losing sleep at night over the happy stuff? Huh?
Too much.
How many, the happy stuff, the easy stuff? Oh, staying awake at night thinking about all my happy stuff. You're not. We're laying awake at night sometimes worrying about the negative stuff, the fearful stuff. All right? The stuff you can't control. The things that can come in and creep in and overwhelm you. All right? A sense of overwhelming is not a good place to be because it will drive the stress. All right? So, let's go back to the go sign. Acceptance of your diagnosis, key. If you haven't accepted it, if you haven't honored yourself, if you haven't respected yourself, if you've allowed this disease to affect your sense of self or your sense of worth, you know, I forbid that, because I think that the only person that can diminish your sense of self or your sense of worth is you. Am I right? You know, sticks and stones. Remember when you were a kid and somebody would look at you funny and you were wounded? I'd go down like a dead duck about 3 times, and then I was like, no more of this. You don't like me, I don't care. You see what I'm saying? You have to maintain your sense of esteem because Parkinson's disease cannot touch it. What gives a human being self-esteem and worth and confidence? Tell me.
Being sure of your place in the world helps.
Being sure of your place in the world. Do you matter? Every one of you, do you really feel that you matter? Of course you matter. Do you think that you have a purpose? Maybe not so obvious. You think you have a purpose? Can you identify to yourself what is it?
Wish I could.
It's difficult. You know, it's a good point, because I really honor your honesty. It's difficult. It's difficult, because the one thing that can really affect and lower a sense of esteem and confidence is the need to be dependent, all right? The need to be dependent. I think it is the most difficult thing for a mature adult, right? A conscientious, dignified adult to become dependent. Because you know what? We've been independent our whole lives, right? Faster you walk, faster you button the button, faster you tie the shoes, boy, you're rocking, let's go. Faster you read, faster you do everything, right? So for an entire lifetime, you have been so fortunate because you have had the ability to do for yourselves. Now, how does it make you feel when, because of some of the effects of the disease, the dexterity in the fingers, you know, the ability to ambulate, the ability to drive, all of the things that you were doing for so many years. Now all of a sudden, through no fault of your own, you're unable to do them anymore, or not as well, or taking more time to do it. How does it make you feel?
Low.
Low? What else?
Frustrated.
Frustrated, good answer, Stan. You know, we want to do what we want to do. Human beings, we want to do what we want to do. We want to do it right, we want to do it fast, we want to do it bada bing, bada boom, right? We want to have impulsivity. You know, that impulse. I want to do it, I'm up, I'm out, in the car, here's the car keys, I'm out of here, I'm done, I'm going, right? You lose the impulsivity. So the frustration of being slowed down, the frustration of being impacted by the fact that you can't do the things that you were doing maybe a month ago, a year ago, 10 years ago, the frustration factor is in there. Low, does this disease have the ability to make you feel low, feel blue?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
What did Dr. Wan tell you with the last luncheon lecture? He told you 70% of Parkinson's patients face depression. Did you hear him say that? It's a part of this disease. Okay? So I taught you before about dealing with apathy, depression, and stress. We can rewind that. You got to keep yourself up here. You got to keep yourself up here. Now, you might not be able to control, you know, the lessened dexterity and the decreased abilities, but what do you control, my friends?
The attitude towards them.
You control that attitude, and only you can control that attitude. And only you can flip negative into a positive. You have that ability to do it. I learned a long time ago, you can only think one thought at a time, and you can choose the thought. So if you want to go Miss Doom and Gloom, Miss Sour Grapes, oh well, it was me. I got a couple other good ones, but I can't use them because I'm being taped. Okay? I'm very limited with this taping thing, you know, I can't purge like I do when nobody's taping me. You can take that effect. You can take that response to it. You can go what I say, belly up in the recliner. We've all been there, have we? Okay, you can go belly up in the recliner for a day. Not 2, not 3, a day. All right, and then you get yourself up, get yourself moving. All right? You can choose the thought process. You can choose what's driving your thinking and your action and your motivation. You can choose it and you can charge it. All right? Only you can do it. You know that you can rely on all your loved ones, your caregiver, my motivational razzle dazzle ain't going to cut it. The only one that's going to keep you up is you. Because you know what? We cannot wish for someone else more than they wish for themselves. So if you're a Parkinson patient, all right, you need to embrace that positive attitude and don't be draining or parasiting your caregiver to give it to you. Are you hearing me? Very important. Very important. You'll be positive for yourself and you're going to be positive for your caregiver. It's the best thing that you can do, my Parkinson patients. Because it's not easy to be a caregiver. This is no cakewalk. It's the worst job in the world. Hours are long, the pay is lousy. Right?
Zero.
Double zero. But the worst thing, the worst pain for a caregiver is the emotion of watching you. All right? Watching you struggle with buttons. Watching you forget a little bit. Watching you get tired. Right? Watching you struggle to
Just get dressed.
get dressed. Simple thing we all take for granted. So it's your responsibility, my Parkinson patients, to be your best, to maintain your positive attitude, to drive yourself for functional independence, to do for yourself, to make positive comments, because it's the easiest thing you can do to show respect and affirmation and appreciation to your caregiver. Are you clear? You know, you might not be able to go out and clean the garage. Actually, we have 4 storage bins and PRF full of decorations. Somebody's got to help me, okay? You might not be able to do the big stuff, but the little stuff really matters. Or if you see your loved one, if you see your spouse, or the person in your life that's loving when you're going down, you know, simple, I've noticed that you're tired, I've noticed that you're worried today, what's going on, talk to me, what can I do for you, what can I do to make you feel better? I want to encourage you to go out and have some fun, I'll be fine, and one of the boys will come in and sit with me, all right? This is not a one-sided deal. How many of you Parkinson patients can tell me that you are absolutely maximizing your potential to help your caregiver to overcome the overwhelming? She had to nudge him. His is cute. He got nudged and then he raised his hand.
What I find odd is my caregiver jumps in before I really need her.
Ah, yeah. I hear this all the time. I hear it all the time. You know, caregivers, you know, we think that, we all say, I'm a firm believer that the caregiving is a selfless act of love. That's all it is. It's nothing more, it's nothing less. But love can be detrimental. Okay? If you're enabling. If you're enabling. So when you're dealing with the loved one in your life, if you want to maintain their esteem, if you want to maintain their confidence, you have to allow them to do everything for themselves. And I know you caregivers, because I was guilty of it, you know, it's so much faster, easier, just go in and do it. Okay? What you're doing when you do that is you're robbing your loved one of self-esteem. Because the more that you do for yourself, the more under control that you feel. It's a lot easier to button buttons than it is for me to encourage him to button his own buttons. Did you know that? It's a lot easier to say, stick your foot up, Tootsie, I'm going to tie your shoes, we're out of here. Then, here's your shoes, darling, give it 3 shots. If you can't do it, give me a holler and I'll give you a hand. All right?
That's the key. You have to be in another room when they're trying.
Get in the other room.
Yeah.
Get in the other room. I think I stuck this in the video last week. I can't remember what I even said. If you have an area in your bedroom or your bathroom or your dresser or whatever, you put everything out there. Everything out there. All right? Lay it on the bed, lay it on the dresser, lay it on the vanity. I don't care where you put it. But the shaving gear and the comb and the toothbrush and the shirt and the belt and the everything else, the makeup, the jewelry, get it out there where your loved one can reach it. And allow the time to do it. This is the big factor that I know Judy's going to talk to me about. The time factor is huge. The time factor is huge. You know, I can remember when I could be up and out the door in about 8 minutes. When I was in nursing school, I kid you not, I could sleep till 10 to 7 and be on the unit at 5 after 7 taking a call. Okay? I can't do that anymore. Now it takes me an hour and 10 minutes. Okay? On a good day. But you Parkinson patients, you need more time because guess what? You're slow. All right? You've lost some of your dexterity. You've got rigid muscles. You're fatigued. You're not as triggered or charged. All right? You're dealing with that little bit of apathy, that your impulsivity is lost. You have all these layers that's slowing you down. But the bottom line is, you got to do it. Because I'm telling you, with this disease, when you stop doing it, you're never going to do it again. Are you clear with me? So you may not stop doing it. And my loved ones, your job is to be there. Safety first, okay? Success second. All right, here you are, Doc. Do not be jumping in there. Do not be doing it. You say, you know, honey, if you need me, I'm in the kitchen. Or I will check on you in 10 minutes. You got it? Allow adequate time for the task at hand. How many of you are doing that? Okay. Really work on that. And the other thing too, friends, it all depends on your level of function. On your level of function. Some of you are just lazy. Some of you are just super lazy. Or some of you would rather, what human being wouldn't rather have somebody else do it for them? That'd be crazy. All right? No, not doing it. You're gonna do for yourself, and you're gonna do for your caregiver as well. How many of you are extending yourself to do for your caregiver? You better. Anybody can fold towels, anybody can do dishes.
Making coffee is
Anybody can make the pot of coffee. Anybody can, there's nothing nicer in the world than to have somebody bring you a cup of coffee. It's one of the most simple things in the world. And if you can't carry it from the counter to the kitchen table or to wherever you sit in the morning, then just simply say, "Honey, I made your coffee, it's here, come and get it when you're ready." You hear me? What am I doing? I'm showing appreciation. All right? I'm showing respect, I'm showing honor, and this is what you need to do. All right? This is an overwhelming disease. It's overwhelming. You know, I taught you before, physical, it overwhelms you physically. These symptoms are tough. These symptoms are tough. The tremor, the postural instability, the rigidity, you know, the altered gait, all right? The increased fall, the decreased balance, the masked face, the difficulty swallowing, the difficulty speaking, the difficulty singing, dancing, what all this is going on. Affects you physically. Is that overwhelming? You don't have one symptom, you got 30. Right? Heavy load. What about your emotion? Affects you emotionally. What's it doing to your emotions?
Anger is a big thing.
Anger is huge. I've heard that word a couple times the last couple days. Anger. What are the emotions that you're talking to me about with Parkinson's disease? And okay, but all the emotions associated with Parkinson's disease, are they pretty? Are they fun?
No.
What are they? They're ugly. They're hard. They're negative. Anger is an emotion. What are the other emotions you're feeling? Stan talks to me, frustration. What else? Come on. What are you feeling during the course of sunrise to sunset?
Mad at times.
Mad? That's your anger zone. What else?
Anxiety.
You feel anxiety. How many of you are fearful? Do you have a sense of fear? Anger and fear for me are anger is the most destructive emotion. All right? Because if you're mad, you can't get glad. You can't do both. You can't do both. If you're angry, I want you to work through your anger on your own with your loved one or talk to somebody about it. You can't go through life happy if you're angry. There's just no way you can do it. And if you're angry and if you're not happy, if you're not happy, you're negative. And if you're negative, you're not positive. And if you're not positive, you're not going to do this. You got me? So if you are angry, get out of there. You got to get out of there. You know, anger can pull a rage. You know, it can affect your thinking, your stress, your behavior, your conversation, your relationship, and everything. So get over the anger. And if you go into the acceptance and the tolerance with this, the anger will go away. You can't do it both.
How about determined?
Determined. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear, thank you. Thank you for finally, I sit up there all the time trying to get you, somebody to say something positive here. Yeah, you have to have a disposition to do this well. You have to have a disposition to do life well. Am I right? Am I right? Mm-hmm. Determination is huge. The ability to be tenacious, to say, I'm going to do it. I'm going down kicking and shouting. All right? But I'm going to do it. And you wrap your head around the fact that this is your life. This is your life. This is your day. Okay? You got a tomorrow coming tomorrow, if we're all lucky enough to have that. But only you can set up the disposition that you live life. And you have to have a sense of, I am in command, I am in control. The belief in yourself. What's your belief system? What is your belief system? Do you truthfully believe I can do this? You know? I can look back at some of the stuff in my life. I told myself I did it, and I can throw myself right into a panic attack that I ever thought I could do it in the first place. Someday I'll tell you stories, all right? The determination I can do it. And I know for this because I've been doing this a long time. I've known a lot of people just like you. And everything you need to meet and greet this disease or any other challenge in life is in there. You might not think it when you're in the middle of the problem. That's the other thing. You get into this minute right here, this thing right now. Oh my God, here's the drama of the day. I got this, this, and this, and this going on. What am I going to do? I'm never going to go. Well, you know what you're going to do? You're going to get out of it as fast as you can get out of it. Don't wallow in this overwhelming consumption of what if, perhaps, and maybe. Do you hear me? Get out of it. Anytime that I have a negative thing in my life or with anything else, I don't stay there. I'm like, get me out of here. And I get onto something as fast as I can do. So don't wallow in pig slop. That was a good one, wasn't it?
I like that. It's not kosher.
It's not kosher anymore. But you don't want that disposition. You want this disposition of empowerment. And empowerment comes from your mind. It does not come from your body. I don't care if you can't dance the joke. I don't care if you can't drive me to Philadelphia. I don't care if you can't do simple things. But you stand up in your mind. Understand me? So determination is huge. The other thing that I get accused of all the time is optimism. No matter how bad things get in life, that you think it has the ability to bring you down, you want to just say, just shoot me. You ever been there? Just shoot me. For me in my life and some of the challenges I had in my past, I used to say, beam me up, Scotty. Remember when he would just go into, I would just stand and just say, beam me up, Scotty. This might be a good time just to take me out of here and you never have to return me. Okay? With the optimism of choosing positive over negative. The optimism of holding on to the joy and not the sorrow. The optimism of holding on to the I can do it as opposed to belly up in the recliner sucking your emotional thumb. You got it? And this all comes from you. And this you seed and feed inside of you, and you got to work it all the time. This disease is constantly chipping at you, right? I can't even say to you, how you doing today? I have to say, how you doing this minute? All right? And it's going to keep ramming. That's the 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days. It ain't going to go away. You're going to get tired. Okay? So what's the key? How do you avoid becoming overwhelmed?
Take it one step at a time instead of the whole.
Got it. Okay? You know, you can't eat an elephant,
In one day.
but you can eat an elephant one bite at a time. You hear me? You can't sit down and eat the cheesecake. I use the word cheesecake.
Well, I like cheesecake.
I love cheesecake too, and you know, I gotta tell you something. This is my thing. We had one of our friends bring us a cheesecake, and everybody ate cheesecake because they have cheesecake left, and it was Friday, and cheesecake is one of my favorite things because it's big in Philadelphia. Do you know I took that thing home and in 3 days ate it? One nosh at a time, but I ate it. I didn't eat the crust.
And weren't you surprised when you looked and it was all gone?
And it was gone. I said, look what I did. You know, I proved my point. I might even gain 2 pounds, something like that, by having my little plastic fork, you know, and it was inside the refrigerator, and it would call my name, Madeline, Madeline. So I go just taking a little nosh. 3 days. By Monday night, it was kaput. My point being, look at the big stroke. Right, Cheryl? See the big picture. Don't see the little, right in here. You know, it's just like, you're going to do a painting, do the big stroke, see the big picture. See tomorrow, see the future. As opposed to, I remember when I was a kid, remember, Cheryl, they used to have those little things, and you had all these little different numbers, and then they had little, you'd paint the color, and it was maybe the size of a little whatever, and you put a little bit of green and a little bit of blue, and you paint all the blues at one time, and all. And I was like, this is the worst looking thing I ever seen. But when it was all done, paint by numbers. You know what I'm saying? Color all the twos. Made no sense till it was done. And then it was something really pretty, right? But don't do that. Don't paint by numbers. Paint the big stroke. How do you see yourself? How do you see yourself today? How do you see yourself? What do you see when you look in the mirror?
Empowered.
Empowered, that's my girl. You can come back anytime. Free tickets. I'm giving everybody free tickets to Parkinson Place. Free tickets to everything we do, okay? The empowerment is you knowing what you should and could do. The empowerment is you doing it.
Taking it on.
You take it on. You know, you can sit belly up in the recliner, you know, and ponder and plan and pray and never lose a muscle and, yeah, I think I should be doing this, yeah, I got it all figured out. But there's going to be no change unless you take an action. That's your motivation. Motivation is movement. What are you going to do about it? All right? What are you going to do with the overwhelming in your life? The only way you're going to overcome the overwhelming is if you overcome it. And how are you going to do it?
I think scheduling is a big part of this. You know, because
Yeah.
there's so much to do, you know. It's time to take the pill, it's time to eat,
Yeah.
it's time to exercise, it's time to go to Parkinson Place, it's time to watch the Rays game.
Yeah, don't forget those rays. Okay. You gotta have an agenda. You gotta have some type of a plan. You know what I'm saying? You have to have some type of a routine. But it's a guideline. It is a guideline, okay? Because life happens, you know, and anything that's written in stone can be easily broken, okay? Nothing is written in stone with us, okay? So you want to have a little agenda, a little routine. Very important for seniors, all right? The body wants to be on the clock. We like it that way. You want to wake up at a certain time. You want to have your morning breakfast. You want to have your pills. You want to do this. You want to do your activity. And you do a plan for the day, all right? It'll keep you on track. It will also keep you moving forward. The body likes a routine and it likes an agenda. It doesn't want to be monotonous. You want to give yourself some time in there. You've got to have the opportunity to prioritize. This is huge in life because life can fill up pretty fast and you can't fill 36 hours into a 24-hour day. There is no way you're going to do it, all right? You gotta sleep, you gotta eat, you gotta do travel time, you gotta do the necessities of life, activities of daily living. So what are you gonna do with this little slot in here that really is yours to have time with yourself and with your loved ones? So the one that's very, very important is your ability to prioritize what really matters. What really matters? Is it more important? And the answer is, of course it is, to come to Parkinson Place and to exercise and get all the different levels of everything that you need, socialization and motivation and friendship and activity and, you know, empowerment and all the nice things you're doing. That's a priority, all right? Give up the stuff that you don't really need to be worrying about doing. This is a big problem with people. I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this, I need to do that. I always say with something in my life, is this going to matter next week? What is the most important? For me, I've learned, you know, as the director here, you know, I have a lot of administrative stuff, you know, behind the scenes. There's a lot of behind the scenes with this effort here. Hours and hours, you know, program development and everything else like that. But, you know, I made up my mind that you're more important to me than anything else, and that my priority is to be with you. All right? Why do you think that is?
You're looking for the results.
I'm looking for the results, and all that administrative stuff is all about you. You see what I'm
And you'll be
saying?
there tomorrow.
So the thing is my ability to prioritize my time, and the same thing with you. All right? Set yourself up for success. Take time off. Take breaks. You're going to wear yourself down. You're going to get tired. When we get tired, we get overwhelmed. I'm pooped. I can't do it one more day. Do not push. Do not push until you drop and can't get up.
When you're overtired, do your symptoms come out more?
Sometimes, yeah, stress, fatigue, sure. Sure, you know, if you're overtired, if you're fatigued, if you're pushing too hard, if you're worried, if you're stressed, if you're not sleeping, if you're not eating, if you're not exercising, if you don't have a sense of peace and balance in your mind, because one thing with Parkinson's disease, you know, we want you to stay like this with your symptoms and with your medications. You know, we want those drugs titrated that we're keeping, you know, we don't want you doing this. You know, all our docs want you like this. The same thing with your mind. I want you with a sense of peace and balance because the ways are easier, right? You hit a tsunami, you know, and under you go. So it's all about a sense of peace and balance, and you only can control that as well, because life is going to happen. You can do as much as you can to control your thinking, to control the impact of life, but certain things in life are going to happen and you're not going to control it. And the only way that you're going to be able to face it and deal with it and overcome it is if you're standing up emotionally. So your emotional strength is key. And if you have the emotional strength, your body will follow. I taught you that. If you are emotionally sound, if you are emotionally stable, if you are emotionally positive, this body of yours will stick right in there with you, and vice versa. If you negate, oh well, it's me, I'm too tired to exercise, I feel terrible, I'm mad, boo-hoo, boo-hoo, boo-hoo. Then guess what? It's gonna say, oh, okay, you don't want to move, I'm not moving. And the more you don't move, the more depressed you get, and the more it takes for you to get up now. All right? So if you want to overcome the overwhelming, all right, a couple things. You stand up. You control your thinking, you control your routine, you control your agenda, you control your relationships, all right? What else? And when you're tired, you sit down. Always identify. How do you know when you're becoming overwhelmed? How do you know? Anxiety, depression, stress, you're just feeling a little shaky, you can't focus, something's off here. Pay attention to that, because all of a sudden you're carrying something that you don't have the physical or emotional strength to do it. So guess where you go? Straight down. Okay? So you got to get rid of this stuff as it comes along. Get rid of it as it comes along, because you want to keep it within a healthy level. If you want to keep your overwhelming things and your life and your challenges on a healthy level, then you only can carry what you can handle. Put your burden down, right? Put your burden down. It's just enough for you to get up, to move, to do what you need to do. Don't carry minutia. Don't carry negativity. It's what I do. It's an exercise I've been doing for a long time, because I've been in the public arena for a very long time. And, you know, at the end of the day, I really do an assessment of the day. I say two things to myself. Marilyn, what did you do today to make the world a better place? You ever done this exercise? Try doing it. And I'm not talking about, oh, you know, I did something big or did something noticeable. You want to find something that nobody even knows you did, right? And that'll boost your esteem faster than anything else. Say to yourself at the end of the day, what did I do to make the world a better place? It could have been a simple kindness that nobody knows about, okay? Ask yourself that at night. And the other thing too, at the end of the day, only take into tomorrow what is positive and productive. Leave the negativity, leave the minutia. Put it down. And when you wake up tomorrow morning, you take, what's the good stuff I got going on? You know, I got the good stuff from yesterday. I forgot all about the negativity, because the negativity is back there. There's no future in the past. And you've got to move forward. Forward, forward, forward. Okay? In your mind, in your body, and everywhere else. Okay? All right, did this help you? If you start feeling overwhelmed, if you start calming down, you need to come to me and tell me, Mom, I'm getting overwhelmed. And I'll give you the resources that you need to help you. All right? This program is a must. It is part of your treatment plan. You got it? Yeah. The docs will take care of your body. I'm going to take care of your mind. All right? So this needs to be part of your treatment plan. Coping skills, success strategies, and everything else that you need. okay? I was telling them about the website. All the everybody go to parkinsonpages.org now, because Maureen's designing a gorgeous site, and all this stuff is going to come up. Classes are going to be on there now, so if it's a rainy day, or if you're not feeling so hot, you can do it at home. Glad to see you here. All my empowerment stuff will be up there as well. If you need it on a Thursday and you only see me on a Tuesday, you can go find it. I can be with you now in your homes, thanks to Maureen. So, okay?